Good morning. I'm going to do a teaching demonstration in science about food chain. This demonstration is designed for grade 6 students. At the end of the class, the students will be able to, number one, identify the different levels of the food chain. Number two, the students will be able to create their own food chain after we discussed the lesson. Good morning, students. How are you today? Please stand up and pick up the papers under your tables. Let's sing the greeting song. How are you, my students? How are you? I'm good. How are you, my students? How are you? I'm fine. How are you, my students? How are you, my students? How are you, my students? How are you? I'm good. I'm fine. I'm okay. Please take your seat and be quiet and put your hands on your table. Now let's take your attendance. First row, no absent. Second row, no absent. The third row, no absent. Everyone's present. Students, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Eyes on me. 4, 5, 6. Eyes on you. Now, we're going to learn about the food chain in the animal kingdom. The first level in the food chain, we call it the autotrophs. What did I say? Autotroph. So, can you repeat what I said? Autotrophs. Autotrophs are plants. They don't need anybody to provide them with food because they make their own food. So, we're gonna put this plant here under the autotrophs. Autotrophs are the living things or the plants. They don't need anybody to provide them with food because they make their own food. They make their own food by the use of the sunlight, the carbon dioxide, and water, and they turn them into sugar. That's how they make their own food. The next level in the food chain is called the heterotrophs. What did I say? Heterotrophs. So we can put these heterotrophs on top of this autotrophs. So we're gonna put it here. Okay? Autotrophs. Can you repeat it after me? Heterotrophs. The bottom is autotrophs. Over it is the heterotrophs. Heterotrophs is divided into 4 different levels. The first one are the herbivores. Can you repeat after me? Herbivores. Okay. So the next level under the heterotrophs is the herbivores. Can you give me an example of herbivores? Yes, goat. Goat is one example of an animal that is a herbivore. So let's put it here, herbivore. And I want another example. Herbivores. They're the ones that eat plants. Panda, yeah, panda. Do you know that panda eat bamboo shoots? So they are herbivores. So we put it here, herbivores. There you go. Now the next level is the carnivores. Can you follow after me? Carnivores. So the carnivores is over here. Okay? So what are the carnivores? They are the animals that eat meat. Carnivores. Stay focused. Focus. 1, 2, 3. Eyes on me. 4, 5, 6. Eyes on you. Now, can you give me an example of carnivores? Yes, lion. Lion is one example of a carnivore, so we're gonna put it here under the carnivore. That's the lion. See? Lion is a carnivore. The next level in the food chain under heterotrophs is called the omnivore. Okay? Repeat after me. Omnivore. Omnivore eat everything. It can eat the plant, or it can eat the meat, so it eats everything. Omnivore. So we put it here, omnivore. Can you give me one example of an omnivore? Yes, that's the bear. You know, the bear eats everything. You see the bear? It can eat honey, it can eat berries, and it can eat meat. Anywhere it found meat, the bear is an omnivore. Okay, pay attention. 1, 2, 3. Eyes on me. 4, 5, 6. Eyes on you. And the next level, under the heterotrophs, we call it detritivores. Again, detritivores. Detritivores are the one that decomposes the dead bodies of these animals here. So we put it here. Can you repeat after me? Detritivores. Very good. Can you give me one example of detritivores? Yes. The worm is one example of a detritivore. Detritivore, the worm. They eat the decomposed bodies of those dead animals and plants. So the worm is one example of a detritivore. Can you give me another one example? Yes, the fungi. So these are the fungi, decomposers. They digest the dead, decaying animals, and they put them back on the soil. So let's put the fungi here. The decomposer. Can you give me one more example of an omnivore? I forgot something. Man, human beings are omnivores. Everything we can eat vegetables and meat. Right? So we put it here under the omnivore. Okay? So the bear and the human beings are omnivores. Let's classify them into different levels. So, the bottom level, the autotrophs, are the primary producers. Okay? So, the first level are the primary producers. So, the autotrophs are the primary producers. So, they are on the first level of the food chain. They're the ones who produce their own food, and they don't need anybody to provide them with food. The next level are the secondary consumers. Consumers meaning those are animals that eat the autotrophs, or they eat the primary producers. So they are the herbivores. These animals are the secondary consumers. The last level, which covers the carnivores and the omnivores, they are called the tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers meaning they are at the third level. So let's put it here. Tertiary consumers. So the carnivores and the omnivores, they are under the tertiary consumers. And the last one, the detritivores, they are called decomposers because they are the ones that recycle the dead bodies of these living things under them. So they are the decomposers. These worms and fungi, examples of detritivores, they are the decomposers. Therefore, we can say that the detritivores are at the top of the food chain. Now, to wrap up, the autotrophs, which are the primary producers, they're the ones that make their own food, like the plants. They are eaten by the herbivores, which are under the secondary consumers. And under the tertiary consumers are the carnivores and the omnivores. They eat the herbivores, which eat the autotrophs under the primary producers. And at the top of the food chain are the detritivores, which are the decomposers. Now let's play the game. When you hear a herbivore, you would put your finger on your temple and then you would chew like that. And when you hear a carnivore and the omnivore, you would put your finger on your temple and then we show you front teeth like this. And when you hear the detritivores, you would do the skeleton dance like this. That's detritivores. For your assignment, you're gonna make your own animal food chain. Okay, you can follow the same pattern as I did, and you write it on a A4 bond paper, and you pass it next week. That's for your individual assignment.